All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Excellencies, distinguished guests, children, young people, ladies and gentlemen, it is my great pleasure and honor to welcome you warmly to this exciting event to celebrate a major intellectual and advocacy piece of work, which in my view is a landmark on work on child rights here in Africa. We're here to celebrate the launching of the report by Plan International and African Child Policy Forum, Getting Girls Equal, the African report on girls and the law. This is an important report for a variety of reasons. Law is fundamental and foundational for the respect and observance of human rights and the rights of children, and obviously the rights of girls as well. What the law says or does not say, what the law does or does not do, is of fundamental importance for the rights and well-being of all human beings, and of course of girls in particular. And in this respect, it is important that we look at what the law says in Africa in respect of the rights and well-being of girls. This report is the first of its kind in that it reviews and analyzes and carries in one volume the kinds of laws and regulations that bear an impact on the rights and well-being of children, of girls in particular. It is a report that covers almost all aspects of the law and covers the laws and regulations and policies of all governments in Africa. So it is comprehensive, both in terms of content and geography. There is also another reason why we should celebrate this work. More often than not, almost universally, I would say, girls are treated in the child rights literature in a rather disparate and disjointed way. They are treated or viewed in terms of policy in the context, for example, of child marriage, forced marriage, trafficking, violence against girls, and so on and so forth, the most popular being FGM. But they have never been treated in a comprehensive way whereby we look at the whole gamut of laws as the impact on their rights and their well-being. And for this reason, you can say that this is the first comprehensive report that looks at the whole gamut of laws that impact on the African girl child. And in that respect, this is a pioneering report. We have been fortunate to have the partnership of one of the most important development organizations, child rights organizations in the world, Plan International. Plan is a special partner of the African Child Policy Forum. We are in sync in terms of ethos, in terms of our values, and in terms of our priorities. And we have had a very long-standing relationship with Plan, and we're very, very proud of that. We're proud because we consider Plan International to be really one of the most progressive international development organizations, particularly in terms of its attitude about partnership between northern and southern organizations. And through you, Anne, Brigitte Albrechtsen, the CEO of Plan International, I would like to express our appreciation, our thanks for the values that you uphold. And thank you very much for that. Now, This report would not have been possible at all without the support, the cooperation, and direct engagement of Plan International. There again, it would not have been possible without your support and Brigitte. Now, organizations are generally considered to have gotten their greatness, their strength from inspired leadership. And no doubt, Plan International has benefited considerably, and its lately acquired high profile is due to the inspiring and dynamic leadership of Anne Brigitte. But even so, we should also recognize that the greatness of organizations arises also from the commitment, from the imagination, the hard work of its staff. And in this respect, I'd like to pay special tribute to the director of Plan, the Pan-African Office of Plan here in Addis Ababa, Sam Norgan. Sam was behind this whole idea. He was engaged throughout, and he mobilized all the necessary support to make this happen. I would say, Anne Brigitte, that you have in the person of Sam Norga the ambassador par excellence, and I really would like to express our appreciation. I'm pleased to share with you also some good news. I had no doubt in my own mind that when we started this idea, when we started this project of coming up with a comprehensive report on the law and the girl in Africa, I had no doubt that it was going to be a path-breaking work, and that was going to attract considerable attention. And I'm pleased to share with you the good news that's already inspiring considerable attention, media attention, and that's already opinion, op-eds, as we call them, which are essays on the editorial page of newspapers, are appearing in major international newspapers and African regional newspapers. And that's also very good news for us. Now, coming to the program this afternoon, I'm pleased that we have a rather impressive panel of speakers to animate and enliven the exchange of ideas and this conversation. You would have noticed that we have a rich and diverse representation of people from different organizations, Pan-African organizations, government institutions, international development partners, civil society organizations, and academia. I would like us to benefit from this opportunity. And for this reason, we're going to carry out this meeting in a rather unconventional way. We're going to have an rather informal conversation. We're not going to have speeches. Rather, what I will try to do is to pose some specific questions which are of particular interest to particular individuals here on this panel, and we would like them to share with us their reaction to those questions, if possible within a space of 5 minutes each, so that we would have time for question and answer subsequent to those interventions. So that would be, if it is all right with you, the way I would like to go about it. So you are actually relieved from making speeches. You just make your short, powerful advocacy messages, the things that you want to say. Now, let me introduce our group of distinguished panelists. First, Anne-Brigitte Albrechtsen. AB, as she's called by her staff, is the Chief Executive Officer of Plan International. She was, prior to that, the Deputy Executive Director of UNFPA and a number of different organizations. A jurist by training, she has had a long and distinguished career in international development. There are lots of things I can say about AB, but probably one will suffice. She has provided dynamic leadership and changed the orientation, the direction of of Plan International in a manner that has made it really one of the most visible organizations on child rights, particularly on girls' rights. I have also with us here my colleague, Dr. Violet Odala. Violet, could you please? She's there, but you'll be seeing her later. Violet is a lawyer, and she is the head of our Children and the Law program in the African Child Policy program, and she's one of the pillars of our organization. Thank you very much, Violet. We were expected to have Aya Chebi, the AU Special Envoy on Youth. She has sent a message saying that she's been delayed by something. She should be joining us very soon. I'll introduce her when she comes here. Then we have Thijs Woedstra, the Deputy Head of Mission and Head of the Development Cooperation at the Netherlands Embassy. The Dutch, I should tell you guys, have been my good luck for many, many years when I was in the ILO in Geneva and in Bangkok. Frankly, almost any new program that I started was supported by the Dutch. And therefore, I have a special affinity for your countrymen. And let me say that you represent one of the most progressive countries in the world in terms of development cooperation. And we therefore salute you and welcome you for being here with us. Thank you very much. We have also with us Dr. Haragoin van Tahoen on behalf of the Minister of Science and Technology. Dr. Haragoin is from academia originally. She has held several positions at the Addis Ababa University in the past as dean, as well as the gender leader in Addis Ababa University. Her academic interest is in applied linguistics and communication. I'm so glad that you're here with us, Dr. Haragoin. Actually, sometimes it is much better to have the advisor than the minister, because advisors are the usual brains behind policy, aren't they? And therefore, you are very much welcome here. There is my good friend, Professor Julia Slot Nilsson, a daughter of Africa. She is a scholar, a distinguished academic, the author of, I don't know, numerous, countless articles, papers, and publications. She is really one of the foremost academics in respect of child rights in general and child rights in Africa in particular. She is professor of law, public law and jurisprudence at the University of the Western Cape. And one of the things that people don't know about Julia, we call her in this country, Professor Julia, that's how we call her in this country. Julia has been the mentor and teacher of many of our distinguished jurists in Africa, in Southern Africa, Eastern Africa, Western Africa. So you have your roots now, you have spread your roots throughout Africa, Julia, and that's no small thing. She is a long-time partner of the African Child Policy Forum. She is working with us on a number of reports, including this one, and we really consider her not really as an outsider, but as one of us. And I'm so glad, Julia, that you could make it here with us. And then we have Dr. Daniel Bequele. Daniel, who is the Chief Commissioner of the Ethiopian Human Rights Commission, of course, is well known amongst Ethiopian human rights advocates and campaigners, and he has paid a price for that. He was a prisoner of conscience for a number of years under the Meles Zenawi regime, and subsequently, after his release from prison, he pursued his doctoral studies at the University of Oxford, and he held senior positions in two of the world's most distinguished organizations, human rights organizations, Human Rights Watch and Amnesty International. It is really wonderful to have you back, Daniel, in your own home country, and there is so much that's expected of you. And it is an extraordinarily daunting and challenging task. We can only wish you good luck, Dr. Daniel. Last but not least, we have the one and only Yatna Bush. I can say I have a fantastic relationship with Yatna Bush. So fantastic that sometimes I've even said some outrageous things. I remember once she was in my office with some colleagues. I don't remember if it was Bob Ransom who was there on that occasion. And we were excitedly talking about a number of things, about traveling and so on. And Yatna Bush started talking about her experience, her trip to Uganda. And she was saying, what a beautiful country, gorgeous landscape, the livestock, the cattle, the sheep, and all that. And then I said, come on, Yatna Bush, you don't have eyes to see. On what basis do you say this? And then, without hesitation, without a moment, she says, you know, Dr. Assefa, yes, you have eyes, but I can smell, I can feel, and I can see. And that's what she did. And Yatna Bush, of course, is a woman of many faces, of many talents, and I would say of many eyes. She has been an outstanding campaigner for human rights, particularly the human rights of people with disability. She is a founding member, and she was also the executive director of the Ethiopian Center on Disability and Development. And right now, she is a senior inclusive advisor at Light of the World. And as if that's not enough, she is now the deputy chair of the Ethiopian Peace Commission. Yatna Bush, you are the best example of what we can all be, of what we can achieve with persistence and discipline. We are very proud of you. You make us proud, and we can only wish you well. And we're so glad that you are here with us. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the panel of distinguished speakers that we have, and maybe you should give them another round of applause before I ask them to respond to questions that I have prepared for them. Thank you very much.